What's going on, guys? It's J-Mass, and I'm once again joined with
Noah Faraday.
And we are currently in the very rural and remote town of East Haven, Vermont. Now we have an 18-mile round-trip hike to get to today's very interesting abandoned location. We've only done 2 of those miles, which means we still have 16 more to go. It's going to be a very grueling hike, but a very rewarding one. You ready, Noah?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Well, guys, we finally made it. 9 miles of our 18-mile long trek completed. And man, it was a tough one. Super steep at points, very long and tedious. 9 miles out of 18 miles round trip. But man, the payoff is worth it. Check this out. We're actually currently at the summit of East Mountain. It's a 3,439 foot tall mountain in the Green Mountains of Vermont. More specifically, we are in the small rural town of East Haven, Vermont. And here at the summit of East Mountain, we're going to be exploring an abandoned Air Force Station. You can already see it directly behind me and Noah. This is the North Concord Air Force Station, built all the way back in 1955. I'll get more in depth with the history later on, but for right now, we just hiked 9 miles. We want to check this place out, and man, our legs are sore. But again, the payoff is worth it. You ready, Noah?
I'm ready.
So let's do it. We're going to explore the North Concord Air Force Station, built in 1955, abandoned in 1963. Here at the summit of East Mountain. Literally took 9 miles to get here, and after this we got to hike 9 miles back. So let's explore it. All right, guys, we got quite a bit to see here. As you can already tell, this is a pretty large property, so I'm going to get started, and we're going to explore the abandoned North Concord Air Force Station, built back in 1955, located at the summit of East Mountain in the town of East Haven, Vermont. And man, I just got to say, it is so windy and cold up here. It's actually June 1st as I film this video. And you know, you usually expect June to be a very warm summertime day, but nope, it is so cold, it's so windy. I actually have my microphone on right now so you guys can hear me, but it is super windy and cold up here. It actually feels like March or February. So yeah, I apologize for the wind, but yeah, let's start digging around and seeing what's going on here. Peek in here. Sweet, we can go in. Let me grab my flashlight and see what's going on inside this little tower right here. Oh, this is cool. Wow, check this out. This is sick. Now, this entire property is almost entirely made out of sheet metal. You're going to notice most of the structures here are made out of sheet metal. It's actually quite interesting. So I'll get into a little bit of the history as we walk around. As I mentioned, this is called the North Concord Air Force Station. It was built in 1955, and if you know anything about what was going on in 1955, it was, of course, the Cold War, a period of tense standoff between the United States of America and the Soviet Union. And at this time, the United States of America was building many Air Force stations and radar stations all across the United States as early warning detecting centers to look for missiles and nuclear weapons. And that's what this station did. It was an early warning radar station, the primary purpose of which was to detect missiles, especially nuclear-armed missiles. I'm going to be pretty careful as I walk around. I just noted the floor is very rusty and corroded. You can see like holes everywhere. Again, this is all made out of quite thin sheet metal. But anyways, this place operated at the summit of East Mountain in East Haven, Vermont. Again, 3,439 feet above sea level. And just like it is today, even back then, this place was very isolated and remote. You got to look it up on Google Maps to really see what I'm saying, but this place truly is in the middle of nowhere. The closest major city, and I say major with air quotation marks, is St. Johnsbury, Vermont. It's in a very remote, isolated place, and even back when this place was stationed by the Air Force, it was very hard to reach and hard to get to. But that actually helped it. You know, that helped it utilize the clear skies and lack of pollution and other emissions to detect for missiles and other forms of armaments. So this really is, for all intents and purposes, a Cold War era radar station. So let's head up here and see what's going on. During the days of this radar station's operation, it was staffed by the 911th Aircraft Control and Warning Squadron, and at its peak, 170 servicemen were staffed here. Pretty crazy to think that this very remote and isolated radar station was once bustling with Air Force personnel. But that was needed during the Cold War. The Cold War was a very tense time in American history and world history. Nobody knew what was going to happen. At any moment, nuclear-armed missiles could be flying through the air. And that was the primary purpose of this station. An early warning detection station, searching the property and the general area for anything suspicious. But look at this. This is so cool. Right now, we're currently at the top of one of the two large towers, the radar towers, here in the Air Force Station. Trying to be careful as I walk around because, again, this floor is very corroded, looks very unstable. You can see holes everywhere because of how rusty it is, so trying to be a little cautious. Now, the other thing you guys should know is, while I stated the name was the North Concord Air Force Station, that was actually the original name. In 1962, they officially changed the name to the Lyndonville Air Force Station, but it only remained that way for 1 year. In 1963, the radar station officially closed for two reasons. Number one, the technology here was quite outdated, and number two, it was very isolated and remote, and because of that, the expenses and costs were rising. It was too expensive to operate here, and the technology just didn't really cut it, so they abandoned it, which really means that this Air Force Station only operated for really less than a decade, 1955 to 1963. All right, guys, so we just left this little radar tower right here. We're going to check out the rest of the property very shortly, but I do want to take a really quick detour and head right down here, see what's going on. Now, as I do that, I do just want to let you guys know a couple things. First and foremost, I am legally allowed to be up here. Now, I do want to say this is a privately owned property. But that being said, I can legally be here and explore on the condition that I hiked up here. Apparently, they don't allow cars to drive up here anymore. They used to. Actually, for many years, you could just drive right up here. But as of pretty recently, they started ticketing people for it. You can no longer drive up here. You can only hike up here. That's the only way you can legally explore. But again, it's an 18-mile round-trip hike, so it's really not for the faint of heart. Really only seasoned hiking veterans, or just people who have a really high stamina. So I would only recommend you come here if you're really down for the challenge. I would not recommend you drive up here. I would not recommend you take any motorized vehicles up here. You can get in serious legal trouble. Only come up here if you think you can handle the hike, which, as you saw, was quite long and tedious. But it's absolutely worth it once you're up here. Amazing abandoned radar station. And you can see we're actually in one of the many buildings on the property right now. Not entirely sure what this building was right here, but it's super cool. Looks like most of the frame, or I should say the frame is all that's left. Most of the actual shell is missing. Only some sheet metal left behind, but all that we have right now is the skeletal frame. Pretty cool to see. Completely covered in graffiti too. In fact, while we were up here, we did run into quite a few other people. So despite the relative isolation and remoteness of the spot, it does attract a lot of very curious explorers. But yeah, this is one of the buildings right here. So anyways, my PSA for you guys who are interested in coming here, only come here if you're willing to hike 18 miles. Do not drive up. You can get in serious legal trouble. But if you do make the trek up here, absolutely worth it. All right, guys, we're going to keep on exploring the property of the North Concord Air Force Station here in East Haven, Vermont. Quite a bit to see, as I stated. That's the one I really want to get to the most. That's the tallest radar tower on the property. Look at that. And I'm sure if we get to the top of that, we can get absolutely gorgeous views of the surrounding green mountains in Vermont. Pretty excited to see that. But for now, let's head into this very skeletal frame, see what's going on in here. It looks like this is a former building that was probably demolished or at least destroyed somewhat. Oh, there's actually some things over here. Let's take a peek at this. Looks like some huge machine over here. Not entirely sure what it is. If anyone in the comments knows, please let me know below. I'd be curious to know what this is. Clearly some sort of machine. I'm just not entirely sure. There's some other sort of machine right here. And then you can almost see down below there is a basement. So try to see if you can get to the basement level after this. There's actually quite a few holes into the concrete. Wow. We'll get down there, but really right now we're just in this massive, almost concrete foundation surrounded by a skeletal, rusty frame. Not really much else in here, to be honest, but cool little area nonetheless. Man, I got to be honest with you guys. This is so surreal being here. This spot, the North Concord Air Force Station, has been on my urbex bucket list for literal years. Ever since I was a teenager and just getting into urbex. I think I first found out about this spot back in like the mid to late 2010s. Back when I was still getting into urbex, and man, it was so cool. I'd always wanted to get over here. It's just I never had the means to get over here until recently. And, for a while you could drive up here and my car couldn't make it. And now you have to hike and it's a long trek. I mean, there's so many reasons why it took me so long to make it up here, but I finally did. And it's so surreal. I've wanted to come to this place for a while. Been on my personal urban exploration bucket list for a minute now. So cool. A lot of debris as well. Might be hard to hear because I do have my microphone on, but every time I'm walking around, I hear banging and clanking from the sheet metal. Again, it's super windy up here, very windy. And all the sheet metal is just banging and clanking around. Just constant loud noises. All right, guys, I think we're going to explore these buildings right over here next. And of course, that includes the very tall radar tower right up here. Oh, wait a minute. Is that Noah? Yo, that's Noah. What are you doing up there? Yeah, that's Noah. He's, as you can see, at the not the very top, but he's getting close to the top of the very tall radar tower. Man, it's windy. But I think we're going to keep on exploring over here. We'll get up there very soon. Don't get me wrong. Huge graffiti-covered tank right here. This thing is actually wobbling, too, with the wind. Again, I don't know how well you guys can hear it with the microphone. Hopefully not at all, to be honest. But it is super windy here. Also super cold. My hands are freezing. All right, let's check out this tower right here. This is so cool. Cannot believe I'm here. Let's take a peek in here. It's really interesting to be walking around the premises of a radar station from the Cold War used to detect nuclear missiles. It's basically an anti-nuclear missile radar detection station. It's so interesting to be here because it's the kind of thing you learn about in school or, watching movies. But things like this existed, and to be walking around it is truly like stepping in time. Stepping back into a period of history where everyone was paranoid, essentially. Wow. All right, let's head up into these stairs. Got to be careful of these holes. The ground is so corroded. Look at this. All of this rusted sheet metal. Wow, okay. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, I did it. Wow, that was a little treacherous. But hey, I hiked 9 miles today. I can do this. I try not to show that. A lot of very obscene graffiti up here, unfortunately. Okay, so once again, we are on the upper level of this admittedly smaller radar station. Not really much in there. Man, I'm trying to be so careful of these corroded floors. Shoot. I will say too, if any of you guys watching this are inspired by this video to come here by yourself and check it out, please be careful. In fact, even though you can legally explore here as long as you hike up, of course, I almost don't want to recommend it to you guys because of how dangerous it is. Like, look at this. I have to jump over. Please be careful if you come here. It is so dangerous. I don't know the exact year this happened, but during my research of this radar base, I actually found a story of, I think it was a kid who came up here. He was exploring the radar base, and he actually fell from one of the towers. I don't know if he died, but he was at the very least very gravely injured. So this place is super dangerous. Please, please be careful if you come here. I'm trying my best to be careful as well. Okay, so we're standing outside now on this great view out there. That's where we just were. And then look at this. Wow. Absolute beauty. The Green Mountains of Vermont. You can see them all right over there. Gorgeous. And then some sort of shipping container. Very similar to the other one we were in. But yeah, that's really about it for this tower. Let's keep on exploring. All right, guys, let's leave this little tower right here and keep on exploring. I'm going to try to get to the very tall radar tower next, the one that Noah was just at. Man, it is so cold and windy here. As I said, it's June 1st as I filmed this, the start of summer. And it feels like winter. It's freezing cold. My hands are so numb right now. It's insane how cold it is. So windy, too. All right, let's head inside this extremely tall radar tower, see what we got going on. This is, of course, the building I was the most excited to head into and explore. Graffiti everywhere. That's the first thing I'm noticing. Tons of graffiti. Check that out. Karma. Interesting. Oh, it looks like someone actually had a fire pit here. That's the other thing I want to mention about this spot, too. Actually, can I? Yeah, we can't go in this way. We'll go in the other way. But yeah, that's the other thing I want to mention too. I know this still happens today, but a lot of people who come to this North Concord Air Force Station actually come to camp here. So a lot of people actually camp at this station overnight. Again, it's quite the trek to get over here. Oh, this wind. Gonna get in here first. A lot of people come here just to camp overnight because, again, it is quite the trek to get over here. 18 miles round trip. So a lot of people actually come here at the express purpose of camping overnight. So you're going to see a lot of fire pits everywhere, maybe some tent and sleeping bag remnants. That's some cool graffiti. All right, let's head in here. All right, now we're truly in the heart of the radar tower. It's actually quite damp in here. There's a lot of water dripping from the ceiling. Oh, right in my eye. Awesome. Water right in my eye. I'm sure it's very gross and rusty water. That's not nice. Ugh. Ugh. Okay, sorry about that. But yes, we are in the middle of the radar tower right now down below. We're going to try to get up to where Noah is very shortly. But wow, this is sick. You can see all the piping right there. Not much going on over there, but a lot of utility equipment, pipes, and fuse boxes and all that stuff. Super cool. Oh, is this a freight elevator maybe? Yep, this was the elevator, the freight elevator that brought you to the very top of the tower. Now permanently stuck in the down position, no longer making trips up and down. But that's pretty cool. Wow, can't believe we're inside this tower. I'm going to see how we can get up to where Noah was, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to poke around a little bit. All right, guys, we're going to head inside this room in the tall radar tower right now. Not really sure what's in here. Yeah, just another small little room, not much going on in here. Looks like another utility room with a lot of piping. I want to try to find the place that Noah took to get up to the top of this tower, although with the seriously powerful wind, I don't know if that's a smart idea. It is insanely windy right now. I almost feel like I'm going to get like thrown off from the top, you know? Let's peek over here. Maybe we'll head in here first. Head into this little room, see what's going on. Oh, there it is. There's a staircase. And yeah, that's where we just were, right in there with the pipe. So let's do it. Let's head up. Really interesting to think that this radar station we're exploring right now was only active for, 8 years? 1955 to 1963. It's really interesting that such a massive place with so many buildings, and I'm sure so much money poured into it. I mean, again, 170 servicemen at its peak. All of that work and effort, and to only last for 8 years. It's crazy. It's almost like that kind of harkens to a point of government overspending, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, crazy to think about. Wow, another gorgeous view of the Green Mountains in Vermont. Oh, look at that. Stunning, absolutely stunning. This is the view from the top of East Mountain. You even got a nice little compass right here. This is us facing south, south right there, east, west, north. Super cool. Whoever put that there, you're sick. But we are on this floor right now, the level above the lower level we were just at recently. Again, you can see the piping right there. Wow, even a massive like pine tree branch. I mean, with the serious, powerful winds up here, it almost makes me think that the wind threw this in those windows. I wouldn't be shocked. Seriously, guys, I know I keep harping on it, but this place is so windy. Crazy stuff. But super cool to walk around it. Oh, I also keep seeing these everywhere. You might have noticed as well, but I keep seeing shotgun shells everywhere. The other thing I kind of want to mention about this place, as I said, you can legally be here, and a lot of people do explore this place. We actually ran into a few ourselves. But I hate to say this, but it's the truth. A lot of people who come to this radar base are quite unsavory. They don't have the best intentions in mind, whether that's vandalism, whether that's shooting off guns all willy-nilly, whether that's being a bit of a ruckus. Unfortunately, a lot of people come here to act crazy and chaotic. In fact, a little story I want to tell you guys. As we were hiking up here, there was a group of people camping down below the radar station. And I kid you not, I'm not joking, I'm not making this up. They were blowing up tannerite. These people were blowing up tannerite. Tons of it too. It was so loud, it almost sounded like bombs going off. It was crazy. Now, luckily, I think they might be gone by now, or at the very least, I haven't heard it in a while, but man, that stuff was going off nonstop as we were hiking up. It was kind of creepy. So again, you get a lot of those kind of, hate to use the word, but degenerate people who come up here and cause a ruckus. Luckily, right now, Noah and I have the radar base to ourselves. We haven't seen anyone up here in quite a bit, but I'm just letting you guys know, because if you do come here, do not go alone. I wouldn't recommend coming alone. A lot of unsavory people come here. Guys, guess who I just stumbled across? Noah Faraday in the flesh. We're finally reunited.
Reunion!
Hell yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I was walking up these stairs right here, up the tall tower, and I stumbled upon him shaking and shivering.
Yeah, my skinny butt.
Yeah, so what exactly happened?
I climbed up the rusty ladder all the way to the top of this tower.
Yep.
And well, while I was at the base, my hands were pretty cold.
Yeah.
And I was starting to not feel them. But when I was up at the very top of the tower, it escalated.
Wow.
Rather quickly.
Jeez.
So once I got my shots, went back down, and I just sat here in the dark.
I don't blame you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very cold and windy day, as I've said many times. I don't think you guys understand. It feels like it's like January or February right now. It's so cold. But yeah, we're going to keep on exploring, and then I'm going to go to the top of the tower, which I'm a little nervous about, if I'm being honest, considering how badly Noah's hands were affected. But yeah, let's keep on exploring first and see what's going on in the rest of this tower. There he is.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So another cool little area right here. You can see, oh, there's actually a ladder here. Is that the ladder?
Of course, we're going to have our mask.
Well, there is a ladder right there. Maybe I'll climb up that one. Not sure which way Noah took, but this looks like a pretty direct route.
Oh, we're going back up.
But yeah, let's keep on looking. These walls are completely covered top to bottom in graffiti. As I've stated, many people come here. A lot of them have malicious intent, unfortunately. But as you can see, there are a lot of graffiti artists who make the long 9-mile trek up to the top of East Mountain, and they do a lot of graffiti. Some of it's great, some of it's trash, par for the course with abandoned locations. But man, this is cool. We're at the very top level. You can see right up there is the actual roof, and that's where I want to go next. Now, I want to give you guys a warning. It is super windy up there. My filming might not be the best because of how windy it is, because of how much my hands are going to be shaking. So I do want to apologize in advance, but I think the views alone are going to be absolutely worth it. Actually, this right here is this is the way that Noah went. Oh man, look at that. Well, I'm not going to spoil the views. We'll get to the views in a second, but Noah, you ready to head up there?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You're going to make a second try?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do it, guys. We'll meet you at the very top.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to climb up this ladder right here, get to the very top of this super tall radar tower here at the North Concord Air Force Station. Now, as Noah said, my hands are probably going to get very cold, but let's try it out. I'll meet you guys at the very top. Woo! Dun 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 dun. Wow, it is crazy up here. Oh man, this is sick. I can't wait to show you guys. Woo! We made it. We're at the very top of the tallest tower here at the North Concord Air Force Station. Man, the views are beautiful. It is so scenic and gorgeous up here, but it is so windy. Look at my hair. Look at his hair. Ah, it's crazy. It's so windy and cold up here, but wow, it's awesome. I can't wait to show you guys, but man, it's so cold up here. I just wanted to show you how windy it is, but we did make it. We are at the very top of the tallest tower here at the North Concord Air Force Station. All right, let's look around a bit and see. So as I stated, guys, we are at the very top of the tallest radar tower here at the North Concord Air Force Station. And man, the views are absolutely gorgeous. Stunning scenery up here. We get a 360-degree panoramic view of the Green Mountains of Vermont. I'm going to try to show you everything. Now, of course, that being said, I do have to be careful. It's extremely windy up here. I don't want to fall off and, get blown off by the wind because I am pretty lightweight, to be fair. It's also super cold up here. I don't want to get hypothermia or frostbite in my hands like Noah probably did, to be fair. So I'm going to be very cautious, but I want to show you guys everything. So let's take a peek. I'm going to give you the 360-degree experience from the tallest tower. So right over there, beautiful, stunning views of the Green Mountains of Vermont. Check that out. Again, we are in a very remote and rural section of northeast Vermont right now. So it's just all mountains as far as the eye can see. You can even see the top of one of the other towers right down there. Look at that. Crazy stuff. Some more mountain views over there. Beautiful vistas up here. Let's take a peek over here. This is one of the most iconic viewpoints from the North Concord Air Force Station. And that's this one. Look at this. Stunning. Simply stunning. I mean, I have no words. This is just one of the most amazing and genuinely aesthetically pleasing abandoned locations I've ever visited. Crazy stuff. Now let's head over here, take a peek over here. Oh, I'm so cautious about going any further onto the rim of the building. I just don't want to fall off, but let's take a peek over here. Got some more beautiful Green Mountain views. And then if we go over here, you can get a better view of the actual radar station itself. So let's check that out. Got to be careful. Look at that huge hole. If I fall, I'm basically paralyzed for life or dead. But anyways, check this out. This right here is the radar station. That's the very first tower we visited. In fact, that road over there is how we came up. That's where we hiked up from. Some more of the buildings we already explored today right over there. And again, beautiful scenic vistas. Man, this is cool, but man, is this windy. This is crazy up here. So windy and cold. A lot of people come here in the winter, which I cannot believe, but I definitely want to show you guys. This is truly the climax of the video, to be fair. And wow, look at all these shotgun shells. People were shooting a lot of guns up here. Crazy stuff. That's when you really know you're in the boonies of Vermont. All right, guys, so that, of course, is the very tall radar tower we just explored. We were all the way at the top of it, and I gotta say, that was genuinely one of the most amazing urban exploration experiences I ever had, seeing the views from up there. But once again, we are back down below at the base of it, and we have a few more buildings we're going to check out, namely the smaller radar towers, kind of like that one over there, although we already explored that one, but we have about 2 more to check out. And in fact, I'm already inside at one of them right now. Just starting from inside, because I'm not going to lie, getting inside of here was a bit of a pain in the ass. So we will be starting right inside, but much like the other small radar towers we already explored, probably going to look quite the same, so won't dwell on it too much. But let's wander around and see what this one has in store. Now I'm going to make my way over to the stairs. Got to be a bit careful because, of course, like most of the ones we explored, the road or the floor is quite corroded, super rusty and destroyed, holes everywhere. Got to be very cautious about that. So there we go. Perfect. One thing I've been thinking about, which I want to mention, as I stated, the North Concord Air Force Station opened in 1955, but it closed in 1963. And between that time, it only operated for 8 years. But in 1962, they changed the name to the Lyndonville Air Force Station. By the way, there's no way I'm getting in there. Look at this. Horrible holes, not even worth risking my life over, but you can kind of see it over there. Bit of a shame we can't get in there, but yeah. But anyways, they changed the name to the Lyndonville Air Force Station in 1962, and then a year later, in 1963, they closed down permanently due to rising costs and, of course, outdated technology. I mean, in many ways, the Cold War was not just an arms race, but a technology race. The United States and the Soviet Union were trying to best each other with the best technology. And of course, this was probably laughable in 1963. But it just begs the question, like, why did they change the name to Lyndonville Air Force Station a year before they permanently shut down? It's weird. So it was North Concord Air Force Station for quite a while, and then Lyndonville Air Force Station for 1 year, and then it closed. Super weird. I was wondering that myself. Okay, so this right here is that smaller radar tower we just explored. Literally, we're just inside it a second ago. There's one more behind it I want to check out. So we're actually going to head down this little dirt road right here and see if we can get to it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the very last abandoned structure on this exact property on East Mountain. So we're going to head to that right now, see if we can get into it. I can kind of see it poking up through the trees right there. But again, this is the one we were just in. And of course, you got the really sick, taller radar tower right there. And then right over there heads to the other one. So again, it's a really cool property at the very summit of East Mountain. I still can't believe we're 3,439 feet above sea level. It's crazy. Well, I can believe it considering how insane the wind is. The wind is always so much worse when you're on the summit of a mountain, right? All right, let's head over to this one. Oh, this is kind of cool. This is actually quite different from the other smaller radar towers we hit. This one actually looks like it has a stilted bottom, which is unique. Pretty excited to check this one out. But first, let's peek into this little shed right here, this little house. Not really sure what it is. Probably just a utility shed. Probably nothing crazy, but let's take a peek. Yep. A lot of your standard graffiti in here. Wow, a lot of writing. I'm not going to read all that, but super cool. Wow. Interesting. Of course, this is the structure I'm most interested in. So let's see if we can head up those stairs right now and take a peek. Now down below, it looks like it's mostly just skeletal framing. Won't spend too much time down here, but I definitely want to climb up this thing. And it looks like we might even be able to get up top again. All right, guys, let's head up these stairs and see what this place has to offer. Pretty interested. It's a little different than the rest of the buildings on the premises. Also got to be careful. This place is actually a little dangerous. A lot of floor tiles are missing, so you have to do sketchy things like this. But here we are, inside this giant structure. Wow, super cool. It's quite dark in here, so it might be a little difficult for you guys to see, but what is this? Little room, not much going on in here. Honestly, not much going on in this building in general. It's quite empty, but pretty cool nonetheless. Just a giant, hulking sheet metal structure sitting in the middle of the woods in Vermont. Once used by the United States Air Force Base for early warning radar testing and detection. Okay, let's head up here next. Head up these stairs. See if we can find anything unique up here. Wow, look at all the water that's coming down too. It's so damp in here. Small little room in here. That's kind of weird. And of course, more beautiful views. You can even see the other radar towers over there. Check that out. That's a pretty cool view. I'm excited to see what the view looks like at the top of this place. All right, next level up here. Man, you can hear the wind outside. It's crazy. Sounds like a monster screaming. But yeah, once again, we are... Actually, I think this might be the top level. So I think after this, it's just the roof. Not too much going on in here again, but super cool. But I'm definitely going to try to get up to the roof. Let's see if I can find the ladder. Is there a ladder in here? Nope. Definitely roof up there, though. Oh, we've got to be careful of that. Did not see that was flooded. Oh yeah, I do see the ladder right there. So maybe in a second I will head out to that ladder, climb up, and we can take another view from that one. Let's just peek out here really quick. Look at this. Stunning views, simply stunning. All right, guys, once again, we are on top of one of these radar tower structures. This one, of course, is a little shorter than the other one we were on, but still super cool. And man, look at this view. Phenomenal view of the rest of the Air Force Station. Check that out. You can even see the very tall one that we climbed up earlier. I do apologize again for the wind. It is quite windy up here, of course. Luckily, not as windy as the taller one, but still windy nonetheless. But man, that's such a cool view. Check that out. Now, in a second, I'll give you a 360 panoramic view from this whole area. But yeah, those are those structures right there. You can also see that other shed right over there, the skeletal frame one. Some more beautiful vistas of the Green Mountains of Vermont. Then, of course, this right here is the middle. Almost looks like a peace sign or something that someone painted right here. Not entirely sure. Take a view over here, some more mountain views. Stunning, I love it. Absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we've hit most of the buildings that are up here on the summit of East Mountain. Oh, did I speak too soon? Check that out, guys. I might have to try to figure out what that is to see if I can get to it. It looks like a bit of a walk away, but I'll try to see that. But other than that, I do think we've hit most of the, or at least the majority of the buildings on East Mountain. But man, this was so cool. I gotta say, love this place. This has been on my Urbex bucket list for quite some time now. Absolutely worth it. All right, so if you guys will remember, we saw a pretty secluded building in the middle of the woods while we were standing on top of that radar tower just a few minutes ago. Well, this right here is that building, completely made out of what looks to be cinder blocks, a far cry from the sheet metal buildings we're pretty used to seeing. But yeah, this is that pretty secluded building. It's actually not too big, but I still want to check it out because I do believe this is actually the very last building here at the summit of East Mountain. Again, quite secluded as well. It was a little bit more of a hike to get here, but pretty interesting to check out. Now, it is pretty dark inside, so before we head in, I want to give some pretty somber news. We got to give our final goodbyes to the iconic JMass flashlight. I've had this thing since April 2023. I've been using it on the channel for virtually every video, or at least every video that requires a flashlight, and as of today, it's officially dead. Basically, what happened was I was climbing down that ladder on that radar station tower that I was just at, and my flashlight, which was in my pocket, completely fell down, like I would say 30 feet down, crashed down below, and now it can't even be used. You can actually see it's waterlogged because it fell in some water. Yeah, it's not in great shape. It's completely dead now, so RIP the flashlight. I'm only saying that because it's going to be very dark in here, and now I don't have a flashlight on me, which is pretty annoying. So let's explore this place without a flashlight, just like 2022 JMass used to do back in the day. So yeah, unfortunately, guys, I got to resort to my much weaker iPhone flashlight for the duration of the video. Super upsetting. Not as good quality, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll keep taking a look around this building right here. Luckily, as I said, this is the last building on East Mountain, so we at least saw everything else quite illuminated. Let's take a peek around. Not too much going on. A lot of scrap debris and metal. Huge, well, maybe a machine or some furniture piece right here. Let's actually go on this side so we can see. Yeah, some sort of strange machine right here. Not entirely sure. But yeah, this is most of the building. It's actually quite empty here. It's also, or I should say, seems to be in very rough shape. Of all the buildings we've explored today, this one seems to be in the roughest shape. I mean, look at this thing. It's falling apart. Not entirely sure what this building was used for. In fact, if any of you guys watching this video are aware of what any of these buildings were used for, please let me know in the comments below. Of course, I know we're at an Air Force station, but a lot of the buildings, not entirely sure what their specific functionalities and operations were. So any assistance would be greatly appreciated. But that's really about it for this building. I did just want to check it out. I'm going to go back to the North Concord Air Force Station proper, meet Noah over there, and then I think that's really about it. And we probably got to begin our 9-mile trek back down to where we parked. All right, guys, so that's about it for the East Mountain Summit portion of the North Concord Air Force Station. As you saw, we checked out a lot of buildings here. It was really sick. But now we're going to be heading back down the mountain again, right back down another 9 miles. However, we didn't reveal this early in the video, but there are a couple things to see along the way down. So join Noah and I again as we head down the mountain and show you some more interesting things to check out that aren't actually on the summit. So as you guys can see, we have yet another abandoned building right here. Although this one is significantly further down the mountain. As Noah and I stated earlier, we just left the East Mountain Summit where all those other buildings were. We're now a little bit further down at the base of the mountain, and there are still quite a few abandoned buildings to check out. Now, of course, since I don't have my flashlight with me anymore because it fell down the ladder, Noah's going to be helping out with his own flashlight. So let's head in. Go. Let's check it out. So what exactly were these buildings? I know you were mentioning it to me earlier.
I heard that one of them was an administration building, but the rest, I've seen one that was a kitchen and a gym.
Interesting.
So it must have, I don't even know what it was meant to be, but
not sure what this exact one was, but we'll take a look, peek around.
Probably
again, guys, I apologize for not having my own flashlight, so it might be a little bit grainy.
Urbexers must have slapped those on.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those things right over there. You see those on a lot of police training academies.
Yeah.
Interesting place.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, another abandoned building. As I stated, though, this was part of the North Concord Air Force Station. So what we're exploring was part of the Air Force Station. It was just further down the mountain. So the earlier part, the radar station, that was on the summit of East Mountain. We're a little bit further down now, closer. I don't think we're at the base of the mountain yet, but we're closer to it.
Kind of reminds me of Lakeville just a little bit.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Lakeville. Kind of reminds me of Norwich a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost gives me like state hospital vibes.
This is the gym.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. That's cool. This is the gym that Noah was talking about. Check this out, guys. That's so dope. Wow, let's take a peek. So you think this is like a gym where they have like basketball hoops and that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, I think so.
So cool. So this is where they would play basketball, probably other sports. Keep in mind, there were 170 servicemen here at its peak. And when you're stuck on an isolated mountain in the middle of nowhere, Vermont, you got to have some form of recreation. You got to have fun somehow. So this is probably where they had fun. Cool. I'll just take one more peek outside. Again, we're in a very wooded area, as you can see, super wooded area. A far cry from the more open spaces of the summit that we saw earlier. It's a Cold War. That is true.
Yeah.
This was founded during the Cold War. So many of these things too. Check these out. Firing targets. Oh, these actually have bullet holes in them.
Yep.
So yeah, people are actually using these.
Bathroom over there behind you.
Oh, behind me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bathroom right there. Check that out really quick. Take a peek. See what we got going on. Oh yeah, bathroom right here.
Wall.
Although no toilets left behind.
Yep.
Interesting.
Shower?
I think so. Not much left in there, but let's peek at those rooms over there and see what else is left in this building. As you guys can see, this building is in pretty rough shape, completely covered in graffiti, plaster's ripping off the wall. You know, the ceiling is coming apart, all the tiles are falling down, there's debris everywhere. Clearly what we're exploring is not in good condition or shape. Not to say the top was either, but this feels almost worse than the summit.
Definitely.
Interesting.
Structure over there.
Oh yeah. Take a peek at that. There are other buildings we're going to be checking out as well. There's actually quite a few down here. A lot more than I expected originally. Yeah, you guys can see that over there. Some more buildings. We're going to try to check out as many as we can. Although Noah and I are frankly quite tired.
Yeah.
So, and we also still have like probably 15 or 16 miles left to hike. God, what am I talking about? We have like maybe 6 or 7 miles left to hike. But yeah, guys, I think that's really about it for this specific building right here. Pretty cool. Looks like it's primarily a gym. So this might have been some sort of recreational or community center for the Air Force servicemen. Pretty cool stuff. All right, we have another building right over here. Let's check this one out. Again, no flashlight, so I do apologize. Me and Noah split up now, though, so I'm on my own. So hopefully I can show you guys what this looks like inside without any problems. Now, I don't think I can actually get in here, so maybe I can just show you. Look at that. This looks like some sort of boiler room. Huge tank right there, a lot of piping. So yeah, it looks like this is some sort of boiler room or utility room, which I guess kind of tracks with the look and feel of this place. Very small. Super interesting though. But if we head right down here, there's actually quite a few abandoned buildings. I stated this in the previous clip, but once you leave the East Mountain summit and you start heading down the road, there are actually still quite a bit of abandoned buildings, as you can see right here. It's really interesting. I actually didn't know that coming in, to be fair. I actually thought that all the buildings were only at the East Mountain summit, but apparently there's quite a few as you're hiking up. So let's peep this one right over here. Now, I spoke to Noah earlier, and he actually claims that this is the kitchen, or at least the dining hall. You know, it's where the servicemen would eat. So check this out. Huge structure right here. Let's take a look, but this might be the dining hall. Curious to see what's left behind in there. So let's just trek through. Again, it's definitely a lot more forested and wooded over here because we're not on the summit. Oh yeah, I can already see it's very empty in here, but let's take a look. Cross through. Again, apologies for having no flashlight. I know I keep mentioning that, but wow, yeah, look at this. Oh, I can kind of see, I can kind of make out this might be the kitchen. You can see some of those huge things over there. I don't know what they're called, but you see them in a lot of kitchens. So maybe this was the kitchen, not the dining hall. Oh, you can even see some tiling left behind. Look at that. Some tiles. Yeah, this must be the kitchen. I think I agree. I forget what those are called. Please let me know in the comments below. What are these things called again? I don't remember. But I've seen them in a lot of kitchens, both abandoned and active. Now, the main thing I'm noticing is it looks like there was a fire here. Check this out. Charred wood, literally everywhere. I see so much charred wood. I also just see a lot of remnants of destroyed like paper and plaster and other materials. So at some point it does look like there's probably a fire here, which is pretty depressing. I didn't notice any remnants of fires in the other buildings we've explored thus far, but this one, yeah, this one is definitely in rough shape. So pretty sad to see, but I do think this one was the victim of a fire. I don't know if it was an arson attack or a natural fire, but pretty sad nonetheless, but cool to see. All right, guys, back with Noah once again. We just left the kitchen area, and now we're going to check out these buildings, which Noah theorizes may be the barracks for some of the servicemen. You already took a look at them, right?
Yeah, it's mattresses.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That makes sense.
And
So yeah, these might be the barracks where the Air Force servicemen stayed. Guess that makes sense. You know, it's probably better to sleep down here than on the summit. All right, let's head in. Check it out. All right. Oh, this is interesting.
right.
I kind of like that curved roof or the
Yeah.
curved ceiling. It's kind of a unique look. Not too much in here, obviously, guys. You can see it's primarily empty. Just a lot of stripped drywall like we've been seeing, graffiti everywhere, lots of debris. But I agree with you. I do think this was probably barracks. Definitely for the Air Force personnel.
I mean, each window can represent where the beds were.
Oh,
know?
true. Yep. Yep.
I feel like barracks commonly uses the kind of the round ceiling.
Yeah, that's true. It's a cool look. I like the curvature of the ceiling here. Oh, look at that. All right, let's peek in here.
Where the beds are.
Oh, yeah, I see the mattress you're talking about. Oh, more right here.
Yeah.
Look at these mattresses. Those are old school mattresses covered in flowers. Reminds me of like the 70s. All right, let's peek in here.
And then dead end.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yep.
I don't know what happened here. Looks like some sort of collapse.
Vermont snow.
Yeah, probably suffered a lot of severe weather. So yeah, that happened. All right. All right, we're gonna head into this one next. I think this is just yet another barracks. So probably most of the same thing, but we're gonna take a look right now. Peek inside. Let's see if I can climb up the sheet metal. Oh yeah, this isn't even a rougher shape. Look at that. Huge bulge in the ceiling. Yeah, this place was probably the victim of a fire as well. You can see a lot of char on the ground, a lot of what looks like burnt materials. So if I had to guess, there was probably a fire in here as well as the kitchen. So it looks like some of these buildings are victims of fires. I just don't know if they were arson attacks or natural. A lot of rusted metal in here though. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure if this is the barracks. This seems a little different than the other one. Like there's a machine right here. Some weird thing right here. There's a lot of metal machinery and stuff. So if I had to guess, I actually don't think the building we're in right now is a barracks. This appears to be some pretty small shed. I'm not really going to spend that much time here because it's tiny, but did just want to check that out. Another one of these cinder block looking buildings. They usually seem to be just utility buildings. Yeah, as you can see, really not much in here. There's a fuel box over there, fuse box, but not much else, just covered in graffiti. There's one more of these buildings over here that we're going to head to. And then I think that actually might be it for this section right here. Noah and I are going to do a little more digging in this area, but we actually might be nearing the end of the exploration. Man, just got to be careful of all this mud. It's very muddy here.
Yep.
Super muddy. You good, bro?
Yep.
All right, so let's head out to this building now. Check it out.
Sweet.
Probably not too much in here, but if I had to guess. Oh, this one's actually pretty decently sized. Okay, this one's actually bigger than I expected. I do see an entrance right over there, so let's head over there. Peek what's going on in here. Oh, there's one here too.
I have a feeling this is the one that we already recorded.
Oh, you're right. Noah's right. This is the gym. That's true. I didn't even notice. We're back in the gym again. Crazy.
God damn.
Sheesh. Hey, thank you guys for joining me. I've been J-Mass as always, and this has been another dope New England adventure. And today we explored the abandoned North Concord Air Force Base located on the summit of East Mountain in the rural town of East Haven, Vermont. And man, what a sick abandoned location it was. This spot has been on my Urbex bucket list for years now, and I'm so hyped I finally got to explore it after wanting to come here for so long. Such a cool abandoned location, you know? It was built in 1955 as the North Concord Air Force Station. It was actually a radar base that was used as an early warning detection center for nuclear missiles during the Cold War. Operated for several years until 1962, when it was renamed the Lyndonville Air Force Base, and then it permanently closed down in 1963 due to rising expenses and outdated technology. And ever since then, it's been sitting completely abandoned and neglected. And we checked it out today, and man, what a process to get there. 18-mile round-trip hike, 9 miles both ways. In fact, as I record this outro, I'm literally on the way down from the mountain. I've probably only did like half of the hike, still have, I would say, roughly 4 or 5 miles left to go. It's brutal. My legs are killing me. So I would only recommend this site if you're willing to hike the whole way, if you're a seasoned hiker, if you think you can do it, if you have the stamina and the physical strength to do so, highly recommended. But otherwise, I honestly would sit this one out. It's definitely quite tricky and difficult. You could drive up there. It's just very risky. I know they ticket people for driving up. I wouldn't recommend that at all. But you can publicly explore that abandoned location. It's really cool. But of course, as you guys know, I didn't explore this place by myself. I was joined by Noah Faraday. Noah joined me on this urban exploration like many others in the past, and it was yet another great urban exploration adventure. We visited the North Concord Air Force Station in East Haven, Vermont. Had a great time checking it out. Seriously, check out Noah Faraday's channel. He has great content on there. Not only does he also do urban exploration throughout New England like I do, but he also does paranormal investigations and debunking. Really cool stuff over there. So check out his channel. I'll have it down below. He also has an Instagram and a TikTok, so definitely check that out. Thank you for joining me, Noah.
You're welcome.
And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, J-Mass. I mean, I'm the GOAT, right?
Yep.
I'm the GOAT.
Absolutely.
So definitely subscribe to my channel if you love stuff like this. I'm always doing urban exploration all throughout New England. Also follow me on Instagram at JMassOfficial. That's at JMassOfficial. Yep, right down there. I seriously want to give a shout out to all my channel members. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you all for sticking around. You can see all their names right here. You guys are awesome. If you'd like to be a channel member and support me and the channel directly, you can do that today. You'd get your name in every video. But yeah, I've been JMass, and I think that's about it for this video. Man, I still got a long ways to hike, and I am dead right now. So catch you guys later. See ya.